We all know that moment when someone cuts us off in traffic, when a loved one says something hurtful, when life doesn't go the way we planned. That heat, that invisible fire, it rushes to our chest, tightens our throat, sharpens our thoughts. Anger. But what is it really? Is it just a reaction, a reflex of the mind? Or is it a messenger, a protector, or even a prison? This is not just a video about how to manage anger. No, this is a story about how to transform it, how to understand it so deeply that one day it simply no longer controls you. Because imagine this. What if you could walk through the world with unshakable calm, not numb, not detached, but powerfully aware? What if nothing anyone did could pull you out of your peace? This journey begins here, not with a technique, but with a truth. Anger isn't the problem. Your relationship with anger is. Let me take you back to a moment, not in a book, but in your own memory. That time you were furious. You felt wronged. But underneath that rage, was there fear? Was there pain? Was there a younger version of you crying? You see, anger is rarely alone. It's the soldier standing in front of a scared child. It's the flame hiding the shiver. To truly never be bothered by anyone, we must learn to listen not to the shout, but to the whisper behind it. And that's what this story will do. We will go deep into the brain, into the body, and into the stories we carry. So let's begin, not by fighting the fire, but by understanding what it's been trying to say all along. Let's go deeper, because if you've ever asked yourself, why do I get so angry so fast? Or, why do I let small things ruin my whole day? Then you're about to discover something life-changing. Anger is not random. It's not chaos. It follows a hidden logic, a precise internal script, built from the wounds you've lived through. You see, every time you get angry, you're not just reacting to the now. You're reacting to a then, a moment in your past when you felt powerless, unloved, invisible, or unheard. Someone interrupts you today. It might remind your nervous system of the time no one let you speak. Your partner criticizes you. It might awaken the teenager in you whose efforts were never good enough for your parents. That's why anger is not the enemy. It's the echo, the alarm. It's the past leaking into the present. So when you snap at your friend or yell at your child, you're not just reacting to them. You're defending the younger you who never got to fight back. And this changes everything. Because now, instead of suppressing your anger, you can investigate it. Where is it really coming from? What is it really protecting? Who is it speaking for? Your anger is a storyteller, a map, a mirror. But only if you're brave enough to look into it. This is the turning point. You don't need to fix your anger. You need to understand it, hold space for it, and let it guide you, not control you. So the next time you feel that fire rise, pause. Don't judge it. Ask it, what do you need me to know? Because inside every angry moment, there's always a forgotten truth begging to be seen. Inside every angry moment, there's always a forgotten truth begging to be seen. But truth alone is not enough. Even when we understand our anger, we still feel it rushing through our chest, burning in our gut, tightening our fists. Why? Because anger isn't just a thought, it's a full-body experience. To truly master anger, we must begin with the body itself. Your body doesn't lie. Long before your mind says, I'm angry, your body is already shouting. It starts in the amygdala, the fear center of your brain. The amygdala detects a threat, real or imagined, and hits the alarm. Your heart rate increases, your muscles tense, your breath shortens, your fists clench. It's preparing you for war. But the war often isn't real. It's a text message, a tone in someone's voice, an unmet expectation. Still, your body reacts as if you're facing a tiger. This is the curse of evolution. Your brain hasn't fully evolved to tell the difference between a physical threat and a social threat. So every time someone cuts you off in traffic, disagrees with you, or rolls their eyes, your nervous system lights up like it's life or death. But here's the key insight. Your reaction is not your fault, it's biology. But your response? That's a skill. And like all skills, it can be trained. When you start noticing the signs, your chest tightening, your hands heating up. That's your window of choice. It's the space between impulse and response. And in that space, you get to decide, do I let the pattern run me? Or do I pause, breathe, and choose a better way? Because once you learn how to calm your nervous system, your mind will follow. When you discover the space between impulse and response, you found your power. But that power isn't automatic. It's like a muscle. If you don't train it, it weakens. So how do you build the skill to choose calm again and again? That's what this part reveals. Imagine your mind is like a wild horse, powerful, fast, and easily spooked. You want to ride it, not be thrown off by every bump. This is where mindfulness comes in. Mindfulness is the art of paying attention, on purpose, without judgment. When anger arises, instead of running from it or exploding, you pause. You notice the sensations, the heat rising in your face, the tension in your shoulders, the racing thoughts. You name it. This is anger. By labeling it, you create space. You no longer are the anger, you see the anger. Next comes the breath. Breathing deeply and slowly floods your brain with oxygen, which calms the amygdala and activates your prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for logic and self-control. Try this simple technique. Inhale slowly for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, exhale for 6 seconds. Do this 3 to 5 times when you feel your anger rising. But sometimes anger is fueled by old wounds or stories you tell yourself. Here's a powerful question to ask. Is this thought 100% true? Or am I reacting to the present or the past? Challenge the narrative. Is the driver who cut you off really a personal enemy? Or just someone having a bad day? Reframing like this weakens anger's grip. Finally, practice empathy, seeing the situation through another's eyes. This doesn't mean you have to agree, but understanding reduces the feeling of threat, which reduces anger. Remember, mastering anger is a lifelong journey. Every pause, every breath, every questioned thought is a victory. Every breath you take in calmness is a victory over chaos. But what happens when life pushes you beyond your limits? When anger isn't just an irritation, but a storm inside? That's where true mastery begins. Not by avoiding the storm, but by learning to dance in the rain. Stress isn't the enemy. It's how you relate to it that matters. Extreme stress can trigger our primal fight-or-flight response, flooding the body with adrenaline and cortisol. For many, this means losing control, shouting, lashing out, shutting down. But what if you could rewire your response? First, recognize the signs. Tight chest, pounding heart, jittery hands. This is your body's alarm system, not your enemy. Instead of resisting, try embracing the sensation. Welcome it with curiosity, as if your body is sending you an important message. Next, anchor yourself in the present moment. Use your senses. What do you see, hear, feel, smell, taste right now? This sensory grounding interrupts the flood of overwhelming emotions. Then use positive self-talk, a powerful tool. Say to yourself, I am safe. This feeling will pass. I can handle this. Research shows that positive affirmations can literally change brain pathways and reduce stress. Another key is building resilience through small daily challenges. Resilience is a muscle that grows when you face adversity repeatedly. Set tiny goals that stretch you. Maybe it's calmly speaking up when normally you'd stay silent, or taking a cold shower, or writing down 3 things you're grateful for every day. Over time, these practices reprogram your brain to respond to stress with strength, not fear. Finally, find your support system. Connection with others provides safety and perspective. Talking about your feelings doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. Mastering anger and stress isn't about perfection. It's about progress, a lifetime of choosing calm, clarity, and courage. Even when we master our stress and tame our reactions, there remains another silent thief of peace. People who cross our boundaries unknowingly or unknowingly. But here's the truth. You are not responsible for others' behavior, only for what you allow. Let's talk about boundaries. Invisible walls that protect your emotional home. Most of us are never taught how to say no without guilt, or how to stand firm without feeling like we're being unkind. We absorb the belief that being nice means being endlessly available, agreeable, and self-sacrificing. But real kindness starts with clarity. When you don't set boundaries, you don't just invite chaos. You teach people how to mistreat you. Boundaries aren't walls to push people away. They are bridges that define where you end and others begin. Here's how you begin. First, identify your limits. Pay attention to what drains you, what triggers resentment, and what leaves you feeling small or invisible. Those are signs of crossed boundaries. Next, communicate clearly and calmly. You don't need to yell or justify. Just say, "That doesn't work for me. I'm not available for that. Please don't speak to me that way." These statements are not rude. They are respectful to you and the other person. The magic is when you protect your peace, you inspire others to do the same. Also, expect resistance. People who benefit from your lack of boundaries won't celebrate when you build them, but stand firm. Every time you reinforce your limits, you reinforce your self-worth. You don't need to explain, over-apologize, or feel bad. Boundaries are not selfish, they're sacred. And most importantly, don't feel guilty for protecting your peace. That peace is what allows you to love, create, think clearly, and show up fully. You cannot pour from an empty cup. By protecting yourself, you become more, not less, available to life. Once you've protected your peace with boundaries, you might feel like you've gained some control back. But the deeper path is realizing how little control we truly have over the world and how freeing that truth can be. Control feels safe. It makes us believe we're prepared, protected, powerful. But more often than not, control is an illusion and a painful one. We try to control how people see us, how outcomes unfold, how others behave, how life should treat us. And when things don't go the way we hoped, we become angry, bitter, disappointed. Not because of what happened, but because it wasn't what we expected. Here's the secret. Control is not power. Surrender is. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop clinging. You stop trying to bend reality to your will. You stop swimming upstream against the current of life. You begin to trust something deeper, that you can respond instead of react, that you can adapt without losing yourself. That peace comes not from control, but from clarity and flexibility. Try this. When something frustrates you, pause and ask yourself, is this something I can control? If not, why am I giving it my energy? Most of the time, the world is doing what the world does. People are who they are, and storms will come whether you curse them or not. But peace comes when you sit quietly and say, let it be. Let me meet it calmly. We don't need to control everything. We just need to know what to hold on to and what to let go. And often the things we let go of are the very things that were weighing us down all along. The more we let go of what we cannot control, the more we realize how much of our suffering comes not from events, but from perception. And often the sharpest pain isn't life itself, but the fear of how others will see us. If there's one thing that robs us of peace more quietly, more constantly than anger, it's the fear of judgment, the unspoken pressure to always be liked, respected, admired, to be right, to never be seen as weak, messy, or wrong. So we hide our truth, we perform, we put on masks, and eventually we forget who we really are underneath. But here's the painful paradox. The more we chase approval, the more enslaved we become. You'll never be truly free until the opinions of others lose their power over you. Because let's be honest, you will be judged. No matter how kind, smart, spiritual, or generous you are, someone will misunderstand you. Someone will dislike you. Someone will gossip about you. That's life. That's human nature. The real question is, will you let it own you? Or will you live boldly, honestly, even if it makes others uncomfortable? Freedom comes when you stop trying to be someone's version of perfect and start becoming your own version of real. The moment you realize that their judgment doesn't define your worth, you gain something priceless: peace, liberation, and unshakable confidence. Try this. Today I choose to show up as myself. Not everyone will like it. That's okay. The ones who matter will understand. This is not rebellion. It's not arrogance. It's clarity. It's choosing to live with truth louder than fear. When you stop living for the eyes of others, you begin to see life through your own, not as a performance, but as presence. And in that stillness, you find something you've been seeking all along: peace. Somewhere along the way, we began to believe that our worth is earned through achievement, appearance, knowledge, status. We're told to always prove ourselves, to show we're smart, to show we're strong, to show we're successful, to show we've made it. And so we run. We chase degrees, titles, followers, money, not always because we want them, but because we believe they validate us. But here's a secret the wise have known for centuries. Your worth is not something to prove. It's something to remember. You were worthy the moment you were born, not because of what you do, but because of what you are: alive, aware, human. The need to prove is a prison. You'll never feel enough if you're always measuring yourself against others' timelines, standards, or applause. Let go. Let go of the story that says you need to be someone else to be loved. Let go of the race that was never yours to run. And ask yourself gently, what if I'm already enough, just as I am right now? What if your real power is not in outshining the world, but in standing still, radiating quietly without needing to compete, defend, or impress? The less you feel the need to prove, the more powerful you become. Because now you're no longer driven by insecurity, but anchored in truth. And truth doesn't shout. It doesn't beg for attention. It simply is. And it's enough. You stop proving, you stop performing, and in that quiet, a new kind of power awakens. Not loud, not flashy, but calm, centered, immovable. That is the power of silence. Not every battle is worth fighting. Not every comment needs an answer. Not every insult deserves a reaction. You don't have to clap back. You don't have to correct them. You don't have to show them you're right. Sometimes the greatest power is in choosing to say nothing. Not because you're weak, but because you're too focused on your peace to waste energy on noise. Silence isn't emptiness, it's depth. Silence is what happens when you've outgrown the need to win arguments, when you realize that not everything needs your opinion, when you're no longer addicted to defending yourself, when you choose clarity over chaos. There is a stillness you can access, a space within where no voice can touch you, no insult can shake you, no storm can drag you down. That space is sacred. It's the part of you that watches the drama but doesn't participate, that feels the trigger but doesn't pull it, that sees the fire but chooses not to burn. And when you live from that place, you begin to confuse people, because they don't understand how you stay calm while they throw chaos at you. But you know something they don't. Your energy is sacred, and not everything deserves a piece of it. You no longer waste energy on reacting. But what if the anger still rises within? What if, even in silence, your chest burns? This is where the real work begins. You've mastered control on the outside. You've learned to stay calm, to walk away, to breathe. But inside, sometimes it still hurts, still burns, still feels unfair. Let me tell you something most people don't know. Anger is not the enemy. It's a messenger. Anger says, something here matters to you. Something feels violated. Something inside is asking to be heard. We often try to kill anger, suppress it, shame it. We pretend we're too enlightened to feel it. But true mastery isn't pretending you're never angry. True mastery is being intimate with your anger, knowing where it comes from, holding it like a teacher, not a threat. Ask your anger, what are you protecting? What fear are you covering up? What memory are you screaming from? Most of our anger is pain that never got listened to. Old wounds, childhood echoes, moments where we felt invisible, disrespected, unloved. So your anger, it's your inner child still crying. What would happen if you stopped yelling back at it? What would happen if you simply listened? You've stopped reacting. You've learned to listen to your anger. Now there is one last door left to open, and it doesn't lead to them. It leads back to you. Some people hurt you. Some betrayed you. Some walked away like you never mattered. And the anger, it stayed. It carved a room in your heart, and it never left. But here's the truth most of us struggle with. Forgiveness is not a gift for them. It's a gift for you because when you refuse to forgive, you drink the poison. You carry the weight. You rehearse the pain again and again in your mind, in your chest, in your life. Let go? No, you don't have to forget. No, you don't have to accept them back, but you do have to choose peace. And peace begins when you whisper to yourself, I no longer want to carry this. I deserve to be free. I choose to release myself. Forgiveness is the most radical act of self-love. You don't do it because they changed. You do it because you are changing. You've become the version of yourself who no longer lets old stories control your today. That is the real power. You've come a long way, from chaos to clarity, from anger to awareness, from reaction to peace. If this message touched you, if a part of you healed while listening, then this is your space. Subscribe, not just to a channel, but to a journey back to yourself. We've only just begun.